Hey friends, it's Ariel and Danny. Oh, sweetie. And I have a video I made 2 years ago that I'm going to share with you here right now that is about how being on disability, I do not have enough money on a monthly basis to survive. I don't get enough for my food, housing, medicine, and I have no backup place to live, which means I don't have anywhere to live for free. So I really can't afford housing, and that leaves me in a bad place. And I don't want to be homeless. And I really appreciate your checking this out. What would be really great is if you can, raise awareness about me and other people in this situation. And then if you can come back to my channel, subscribe to my channel, share this video, share my vlog. I also have an Instagram now for my vlog called Ariel by Day, and I will post that. And I'm hoping that you can put this out there as much as possible to help me out and come back, because I will also be able to share more specific ways that you can help, hopefully, because I just really want to be able to make more videos and not stress, because that's just feels like a waste of my time, and my passion is really in sharing what I know and what I've learned and helping other people who are going through something similar. And I do have, like I said, some links below that I will post, and you can donate if you want. And also, like I said, though, the best, most helpful thing too is, an ongoing help. So, coming back or donating on a monthly basis is really, really powerful. And I thank you so much, and I'm excited to get to have time to make more videos. Hi, it's Ariel. So I decided to share some information because I would really appreciate if people get involved in making sure that some of the programs that we have to help people who are disabled stay around, and that they really need to be improved and increased. So this is my story. So I am on Social Security Disability, which is SSDI, and that is I've had it since 2009, and that is the federal disability, and it is based on your income earnings in the past. So I became disabled when I was 28, so my income level from federal disability is below the poverty line. So every month the amount I get is not enough for basic needs. So to give a picture, I'm trying to figure out housing, and one of the problems is that my income that I get every month is 85% of the monthly rent of the average one-bedroom apartment in California. So I do not qualify, obviously, or can pay for 1 month's rent in a regular apartment. So not even the rent, like that doesn't include anything else. I can't actually even pay a 1 month's rent. So that leaves me without a lot of options in terms of being disabled and needing a place to live. So that's pretty basic. That's a big problem. The next thing is that you might say, well, get affordable housing. Well, yes, there's low-income housing, but my disability income is not enough to qualify for the only available low-income housing program in my area for a very long distance. I can't just move a little bit. So the only available low-income housing program, I do not make 1.5 times the rent for a one-bedroom apartment. So I cannot even qualify to get an apartment in low-income housing. So that's a problem. So I am working out sharing an apartment with someone in low-income housing. But that is basically the only option, and other than living with friends or family. And the reason I think that shouldn't just be like, oh, well then that's the option,
not everybody can find somebody else to share an apartment with in low-income housing. And it's not easy to get into this complex where I am. It's not impossible like the other programs, which have closed waiting lists, but it is still difficult. So basically my situation, and I want people to know this, that someone in my situation who is disabled, who cannot work, and under any circumstances right now I cannot work. And sometimes people just try to keep pushing that, like, well, you should just work. And it's like, when you're sick, it doesn't happen. So my disability income is my only income. So that's important to know, that someone in my position cannot get a place to live. That's a problem. And then if you manage to come up with something creative like I have, we're sharing an apartment in low-income housing. Like I said, it's not easy to get it to work. But then still, if I add in my half of a low-income housing apartment, food, utilities, and my medical expenses, that is more than the amount of money I get in a month. So that means I cannot survive on the amount of money I get in a month from federal disability. So people think that you'll be okay, that you'll be taken care of if you manage to get disability, which is extremely hard to get. That's the other thing. Many people are denied it multiple times and have to get a lawyer so that they can even get it. And so in my situation, I have it, but it's still not enough. And there are some other factors. People think there are other programs. Well, I am on Medicare. However, for the first 2 years after you get federal disability, you do not get Medicare. So I was able to get state health insurance. However, there are problems with that because state health insurance here in my area, almost no doctors take it. There are a couple clinics. They are majorly impacted. So someone like me who needs to go to the doctor and stuff and can't find a place to go, that's a problem. None of the urgent care centers within hours of me take it, so I can't go to urgent care. Now I am on Medicare, and one of them takes Medicare. So I can go to one, but it doesn't take both my insurance. So basically, that's an issue. So healthcare is an issue, right? It also, even with Medi-Cal and Medicare, which Medi-Cal is Medicaid in the rest of the country, I do not have all of my medical expenses covered. Not even like all of my doctors that are totally necessary. I do not have all of my medications covered that are like absolutely necessary. So that's a problem because I already don't have the money to have a place to live. So then I have to pay money for medical expenses. In a month, the amount of money that I get does not cover, if you add up half of a low-income housing apartment, food, my utilities, and my medical expenses. It does not cover that. So there are other expenses in life. People might forget. But, you sometimes need to go to the thrift store and buy some clothes, or you need to, buy some dishes from the Dollar Tree. Like, you still have to pay for things. Like, it's not possible to just even live off of that. Like, so basically, it's not enough. The programs that we have do not work. They don't actually support someone who is disabled. And that's really important. And the other programs, such as food stamps, are called SNAP. The total I get, which is the maximum amount for someone with my income, is $127 a month. I don't think many people can eat enough on that. And that is really sad because getting enough to food to eat is pretty basic. And so, I can't eat certain food, so it's actually even harder for me to use that amount. I also have to eat frozen meals because I can't cook, and my caregiver cooks some, but that's not enough. So, there are expenses for being disabled that are actually different than someone who is not disabled. And they are more than someone who is not disabled. So the fact that when you get less than what you need and our expenses are more than the average person, it doesn't pan out. So those are some of the issues. If I were just on SSI, which is supplemental security income, which is not based on how you paid into Social Security. It is actually less than my federal disability, so I am on federal disability. However, if you are just on SSI, the maximum amount this year is about $750 a month. That is 75% of the federal poverty level. That is how they calculate it. In some states, there is a little bit of a supplement. So in California, you get like $50 more or something. So that's still not enough. Like I said, with the amount I get, it's not enough to get an apartment, even in low-income housing. So that leaves people who are disabled with nowhere to live, without enough food, and without being able to pay for your health care costs. I cannot pay all of those things. If I have help from family who pay my medical expenses or give me food or help me by giving me a place to live or something like that, without the support of other people, it is not possible to survive on this as someone who is disabled. It is not possible to just get up and work. It's not possible to just change the situation. When you are in this kind of situation, you're stuck because you have to live off this working the system, and the system is dysfunctional. So it would be nice if I could just be able to eat and have a place to live and not worry that I can't buy my medicine. And there's no guarantees when I share an apartment with someone that if they move out and I can't pay the whole rent. There's issues even with this situation. That leaves someone in my position with, you have no security. There's no security. Even if I get help from other people for certain expenses, there's no security. It's all about the kindness of everyone else. So there are people who are in my situation who don't have anyone who can help them. And so literally, if you're in that position, you don't have a place to live. You don't eat enough. And that's really sad. People who are disabled, we don't just deserve to be treated less than, or, not given respect for having basic, human needs. I also have a caregiver through the county, so thank God for that. Otherwise, I could never pay for a caregiver, so I would then not be able to live alone because I need that help, or else I can't live alone. And so the other options are to live in assisted living. Well, that's extremely hard to get into as well. So assisted living that is run by Medicaid, unfortunately, is not well funded, and people don't get their needs met. So it's very sad. People in that situation are not in a good position either. So I'm doing everything I can to avoid that. And so where that leaves me is in a position that no one should be in, which is that you don't have enough money to eat and have a place to live and pay for your medical expenses. Nothing else. And there are other expenses. Like, I need to go to the doctor and I can't take public transit. There are things that sometimes people might think are, easier, or, well, just do this, just do that. They don't realize that the programs don't add up. I'm on every program I'm eligible for, and it's still not enough. And people that are just on SSI and not on federal disability, like I said, are even in a crappier situation. It's an impossible situation. And the saddest part to me is that I am trying to get the help I need. I am in every program. So you would think that I would at least be able to survive. And it's not enough. It's not enough to even give me a place to live. So I think people should know that. You know, it's just not acceptable that our society does not take care of someone who is disabled. Just because I became disabled doesn't mean I don't deserve to have a place to live. It it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong to end up like this. I got sick and I can't work. So you would think that society would at least make it so somebody would be okay. But what I'm telling you is that our society does not provide that. So people in my position are left without getting their basic needs met, sometimes not surviving. I recently was well enough to drive, which was awesome, and I was going through Sacramento and I drove by a man in a wheelchair, and he was homeless, and it was raining. And so I was very struck by that. And people just are driving by. And I went and gave him my umbrella and some dinner and bought him some coffee. But that is nothing. That is just a moment's help. But that could be me. If I did not have some kind of external support other than the government assistance, I could be homeless too. And I don't think anybody deserves that. And it's not even possible to be okay oftentimes being homeless when you're sick. Like, it's just not even possible. So it's not even easy to be creative. Like, couch surfing doesn't really work either. I mean, all these things that people are like, well, just do this. Like, when you're sick, it actually gives you a lot fewer options already. So, you know, I can't live somewhere that doesn't have, level place to walk. You know, I mean, there are just factors that you have to figure out. So the fact that I found a first floor apartment, you know, these kind of things, it's not easy to even get it to work at all. And that's even if you are lucky. And still in my position, when I feel I am very lucky, I am blessed that I even got federal disability, I still can't meet my basic needs. And with the shifts happening, you know, with budget cuts that are happening, coming up, and this election and, you know, everything, it's just really important that people think about people, you know, and your basic needs. Like, this is just about people surviving and being okay. And people who are disabled deserve to be happy and loved and well respected and treated with kindness and all of that. And most basically, they should be able to survive. So I don't believe we should just be able to survive, but I would like that at least. So the system needs to change. But this is the reality. So I hope that you'll think about it in what actions you take.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. And you can follow me on Instagram for my vlog. It's Ariel by Day, and I've tried to post that as much as possible. And also, please share this video as much as you can, and there are some links in the description if you want to try to help out in any other way. Thank you.